We've all been there, right? Whether you were the student anxiously waiting for a grade or the teacher staring down a mountain of papers with a red pen, grading, it's just one of the biggest, most universal bottlenecks in education. But what if an AI could come along and not just do it faster, but maybe even fairer? Okay, let's dive into some really fascinating research on an AI grader that could seriously change the game. So here's what we've got on tap. We're going to start with the problem itself, that grading gridlock. Then we'll take a quick look at why the first attempts to automate this stuff kind of missed the mark. After that, we get to the cool part, how large language models and old-school rubrics are coming together for a major breakthrough. We'll even have a little AI showdown to see who's best. And finally, we'll wrap up by looking at what this all means for the future of feedback in the classroom.
All right, so let's jump right into section 1, the grading gridlock. And this is a problem I think pretty much everyone can relate to. We're talking about something that's way more than just a tedious chore. It's a real fundamental roadblock to providing quality education, especially when you have a lot of students.
And you might think this is all about grading those long 5-page essays. But actually, short answers can be even trickier to score fairly. So, why is that? What makes grading these short, open-ended questions so darn difficult for teachers?
Well, it really boils down to 3 big things. First step, just the sheer time commitment. I mean, if you have a class of 30, 40, or even more students, it's just a huge time sink. Then you've got subjectivity and bias. Let's be real. A teacher grading at 8 a.m. might score differently than that same teacher grading at 10 p.m. And finally, you have these crazy teacher-to-student ratios. As classes get bigger, it's just impossible to give every single paper the attention it deserves, and that really hurts both quality and fairness.
Now, of course, trying to automate grading isn't a new idea. People have been working on this for a while. But those early systems, let's just say they had some pretty serious pitfalls, which is exactly why we needed a totally new way of thinking about this. Okay, the difference here is really like night and day. The old way of doing things, think of it like a very basic spell checker. It was all about grammar, formatting, keywords, but it had no clue if the content actually made sense. It totally missed the context. This new approach, though, is all about semantic understanding. It's trying to figure out what the student actually meant, which is a total game changer. And that means it can work for pretty much any subject you throw at it. So what's the secret sauce behind this much smarter grader? Well, it all comes down to these 2 key ingredients: powerful large language models, or LLMs, meeting good old-fashioned rubrics. Okay, first, let's talk about the large language model, the LLM. You can basically think of this as the brain of the whole operation. This is an advanced AI that has been trained on just an insane amount of text from the internet, from books, you name it. So it doesn't just see words, it understands meaning, context, and how ideas relate to each other. We're way beyond simple keyword matching here. This is about truly grasping the concepts. But a brain, even a powerful AI brain, needs a set of rules to play by. And that's exactly what the grading rubric is. It's a clear, customizable scoring guide. It's the rule book that gives the AI its instructions, telling it precisely what to look for in an answer. This is what makes the whole thing objective, transparent, and, most importantly, consistent. So let's put it all together. How does this system actually work? It's a 5-step process. Step 1, you feed it the inputs, the student's answer and the teacher's custom rubric. Step 2, the system generates a very specific prompt, a task for the AI to complete. Then, step 3, the LLM gets to work, analyzing the meaning of what the student wrote. Now here's the most important part, step 4. It doesn't just make up a score, it meticulously maps its analysis to the criteria on the rubric. And finally, step 5, it calculates a final score based on that mapping. It's actually a really elegant and powerful process when you see it laid out. All right, so the theory sounds great. The process makes sense. But does it actually work in the real world? Well, the researchers decided to find out. They put 3 popular large language models to the test, pitting them against each other in an AI showdown to see which one could grade most like a human expert. Okay, let's look at the results for the first question. Now, what you're seeing here is something called mean absolute error. All that really means is how far off was the AI's grade from the human grader's grade. So for us, a lower bar is way better. It means the AI is more accurate. And right out of the gate, you can see Zephyr-7b has a clear lead. It's the most accurate by a good margin. Now for question 2. Things get a little tighter. Llama 2 actually steps up its game, and it's practically neck and neck with Zephyr. Mistral falls back a bit here. But in the end, Zephyr still manages to squeak out a win.
This shows us its strong performance on the first question definitely wasn't a fluke. And on the third and final question, we have our answer. It is a clean sweep for Zephyr. It's consistently the most accurate, the most human-like grader of the bunch. And this is a huge takeaway, right? It's not just that the technique works, but that the specific LLM you choose makes a massive difference.
So, just how much better was Zephyr? Well, when you crunch all the numbers, its error rate was up to 15% lower than the competition. Now, 15% might not sound like a lot, but in data science, that is a huge difference. That's not just a win, that's a decisive victory. And it really proves this particular model is fantastic at understanding the nuances of how a human would grade.
Okay, so this is way more than just a cool academic experiment. Technology like this could have some really profound implications for the future of education. So let's zoom out a bit. What does a world with AI graders actually mean for teachers and students on a day-to-day basis?
Well, the potential benefits here are just immense. I mean, think back to the problems we started with. This system tackles all of them. It's super efficient, which means it saves teachers tons of time. It's objective, so it helps minimize that human bias. It's incredibly consistent, which means every student is graded by the exact same standard. And it's generalizable. You can use it in a history class, a science class, whatever. But maybe the biggest win of all, it frees up educators to stop being just graders and focus on what really matters: teaching, mentoring, and giving students truly meaningful feedback. And that really leaves us with one final big idea to think about. This kind of technology was never about replacing teachers. It's about augmenting them. It's about taking the tedious, mechanical part of the job off their plate so they can focus on the uniquely human side of education. So the real question we're left with isn't about the AI itself. It's about us. If we give teachers back all this time, how will we use it to completely reinvent the art of teaching?